Hello, YouTube land. Check your clocks because it's amateur hour time. Welcome back to Phoenix Wright Justice for All. In the last episode, we were talking to Wendy Oldbag, I believe. She's on the stand. She's causing mischief and mayhem. Also, Edgeworth is back, so that's good too. He's not dead, so that's all good and dandy. But we're continuing on with the cross-examination of Wendy Oldbag, and we'll see what happens next as we press her further until she squeals. So let's just jump right back into this wonderful game and see what happens next, because it's gonna get spicy, very spicy. So as always, you know what to do, guys. Leave a like for Phoenix Wright, leave a like for the judge Edgeworth Oldbag, and of course your boy Phoenix Wright, as I mentioned earlier. So here we go. Be careful, the Oldbag seems rather excited right now.
That's right. God is nothing but average foul-blooded youth.
Well, as the old saying goes, you've got to burn old bags with fire. Time to fire up the afterburners and hit the highway to the danger zone. Okay. Danger zone. Secret information. Oh, okay, I remember this now. That Unguard is one evil man. He thought he could ruin poor Juan by causing a huge scandal. So to do that, he sent his own manager to get in close with Juan. I cannot condone such dirty tricks, so I took action. Oh, and this is top secret. You got that? Nobody else knows but you and me know yet, okay? Are you sure about that? That's what kind of got me last episode. That no one else knows this but you and me, so hold it. Wait.
What? I'm a busy woman. The tea time with the kids is over.
Secret information that no one else knows yet. If that's true, then how do you know this secret information?
Huh? Well, that's because I'm a pro. Yes, that's it. It ain't a secret. Even if you drill a hole into my brain, you'll never find out.
How in the world did that old bat get such a secret piece of information? Present evidence. So no one else is supposed to know this secret information, correct? If that's true, then why do you know it, Miss Oldbag?
Why are you looking at me like that? Stop that!
Witness. I hate to say it, but this is how you came to acquire your secret info, isn't it? It's this. Yes, she stole the camera. The investigative photographer, Lotta Hart.
Oh yes, I remember that mischievous girl.
She reported that she had lost a certain note she had written to herself.
She reported such a thing?
On that piece of paper, she had written down some of her outrageous impressions about the relationship between the victim and Miss Andrews.
What? Outrageous ideas, you say?
No, I said impressions.
Then everything written on this piece of paper is completely meaningless?
Ah, that's it. That's the note.
No, you see, this is something completely different. This is my top secret list of groceries to buy.
Then you are the one who took Miss Hart's note.
I'm a huge fan of Juan's, that's why. That infamous puffy-haired whippersnapper. She's working with that evil Unguard. She says so herself. Unguard, I'm his sidekick. She was so happy, smiling like a silly duck. I was only checking what she had written.
No one believes that. Even her.
Edgy Pooh, you believe me, don't you? I was only trying to help out like the angel I am. It's only one little piece of paper. I've never taken anything else before.
You really should come with a supply of cheese to match with your vintage wine.
Well, it was only a piece of paper. I suppose we can overlook this just this once.
She looks like she's really sorry. Should I forgive her? Pile on more pressure. Never. If I let up on her now, she'll get away. I have to find some way to inflict a deafening blow to the prosecution. Witness, you said that the only thing you stole was that note. Is this correct?
Stole? Why don't you listen more carefully, you annoying brat? I see this piece of paper from the terrible, lonely trash can, that's all.
You're lying, damn it, and I can prove it.
Are you putting my credibility under scrutiny again?
Miss Oldbag, I don't believe that the note is the only thing you stole that night. If you had the note, then you had the camera. Obvious. Miss Oldbag, that note was with a camera inside its case, wasn't it?
A camera?
Yesterday, Lotta Hart was raising a huge stink over her camera. She kept saying something like, "My sweetie $1,600 camera disappeared on me."
Why, what? Witness!
What is it, Gramps?
If you have the note, then it's only logical that you have the camera too.
Ah, looks like you found me out again, Sonny. Is this the camera you're looking for?
That's...
What? Even though I look like this, I'm still a person, you know. I still eat meals like you. I fall in love and borrow things from people.
I think your definition of borrow's a little off.
I saw that woman's business card, and that's when I noticed it said, Flying Bag Celebrity Photographer Extraordinaire. Well, when I saw that, I had to know what sort of pictures she had taken. I'm a professional security guard. It's my business to know these things.
I thought it said borrow.
It's my business to know these things.
She's not wrong.
Bailiff, check this camera's photos. Hurry! We must examine them at once.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do we have?
There's only one photo that seems to be relevant to this case.
Please present it to the court.
No, jeez.
This is the Nickel Samurai.
See, I told you. That's the guy I saw.
This proves that the witness was not lying earlier about this matter.
Lotta's photo.
What does all this mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
This photo by itself does not prove that the person in it is a defendant. However, in his own confession, Mr. Ungard clearly stated that at the time of the murder, he was still in his Nickel Samurai costume.
If that's the case, then this Nickel Samurai is
the defendant. Jesus, not another Willpowers.
How did it come to this? I think this brings us to the end. We have examined every piece of evidence thoroughly. Final comments, Mr. Wright? The court will consider them before we close. Do you agree that this photo is decisive evidence against your client?
If this photo really is decisive, then we're done for. But if I raise an objection here and blow it, then I would put Maya's life in jeopardy. I can't make a mistake here. There's only one road out of this mess. This photo that Lotta took, there's something strange with it. It's actually kind of noticeable, actually. There's something strange with this photo. I knew this was coming, right?
Your thoughts, Mr. Edgeworth?
I think we can all agree there's nothing strange with this photo. There's no way for the defense to debunk this photo, even with a bunker buster.
Debunk with a bunker buster? Is that what you're planning to do, Mr. Wright?
Anyway, please look at the photo one more time.
If you really believe you can honestly find something wrong with this photo, then you should only need one chance, correct?
Well, I have to find something wrong with this photo. I can't let this chance go by. Alright, I'm gonna just go ahead and save if I mess it up. But it should be noticeable. I think I spotted it. Where in the heck did she take this photo from anyway? It's all out of focus. Why can't she take a good shot, especially when it counts?
Now then, let's hear your objection. What about this photo is strange?
It's the feet, right? Yeah, it's dragging. Look at that. If Matt Ungard... Nah, it's the feet. It has to be the feet. I would like to direct the court's attention to this one area right here.
What are you pointing to? His ankles?
If you could see this person's ankles, that would be one thing. However, you can't.
And what does that mean?
The costume person in this photo could not have been Mr. Ungard.
What is the meaning of this?
I wonder if you would care to elaborate, with actual facts, that is. Let's take a look at the Nickel Samurai's poster. Yeah, his feet are showing. Please pay particular attention to the area around the bottom of the hakama.
His socks. You can see his socks.
And you can't in the photo. Exactly. However, in this photo, the Nickel Samurai is clearly holding his hakama up just to walk. There is only one explanation for this. The person inside the costume is clearly much shorter than the defendant. Alright, I think I turned things around for myself this time. That's curious. Huh? What is? Edgeworth is unusually calm today. That's true. He's just letting the trial run itself, as if he's only along for the ride. Along for the ride? What do you mean by that? I can only guess that perhaps he doesn't feel under attack at all. He doesn't feel under attack? Then I haven't damaged his case at all?
Mr. Edgeworth, where does this leave us? If the person in this photo was not met on guard, then everything the prosecution has tried to prove has become meaningless.
I figured it would come to this. What? Right, I have something I want to ask you. I think you have proven that the person inside this costume is not Matt on guard. In that case, who is this a photo of? Who's the person wearing the nickel samurai costume? Don't stress out over this, Phoenix. It's very simple. What you should be focused on is Edgeworth's attitude, don't you think? Yeah, why is he so calm?
Mr. Wright, let's hear your thoughts. Who was the person in this photograph?
Well, that should be obvious. Adrian Andrews.
Adrian Andrews?
If you want to know who that nickel samurai is, it is none other than this woman. And why would you say it must be Miss Andrews? What in the world pointed to her? For starters, she's short. She can... Wow. Sorry, that got me. It just, well, obviously she's short. And she can freely move in and out of Mr. Ungard's room. Finally, she had dinner with Mr. Ungard that night.
And how does that all add up?
It means that it makes very easy for her to get a certain item. A certain knife with Mr. Ungard's fingerprints all over it.
The knife that was used as a murder weapon.
Why don't you just say what it is you want, Wright? I have to do this now. This is my last chance to turn things around. Don't pressure me like this. The defense moves to indict Miss Adrian Andrews of the murder of Juan Corrida. It was Miss Andrews who tried to frame the defendant for the crime.
Order! It looks like this trial has hit a most unexpected development. Mr. Edgeworth?
Yes, Your Honor.
This court is issuing a subpoena for Miss Adrian Andrews. The verdict cannot be passed without first hearing her testimony.
Alright, this is it. This is kind of bad for us. Huh? What do you mean? If Adrian Andrews is summoned to court as a witness, it means that the trial will go on for another day. One more day? If I don't get a verdict today, then Maya...
Now then, we shall set Miss Andrews' testimony for tomorrow.
What am I supposed to do? The judge is about to adjourn the court. Raise an objection. Wait.
Now then.
Please, Your Honor, continue the trial. You must pass a verdict today.
I can't do that. We cannot hear Miss Andrews' testimony if she's not...
Hold it. I abhor wasting such valuable time. Edgeworth? Your Honor, I request that you please continue with today's trial.
But we cannot continue due to this unexpected development.
Unexpected development? I think you underestimate me, Your Honor.
And what do you mean by that?
That Mr. Phoenix Wright would slave his way to subpoenaing Miss Adrian Andrews is all happening according to plan, even if Wright was a bit slow to catch on. What?
What is the meaning of your statement, Mr. Edgeworth?
Miss Adrian Andrews is currently waiting in the prosecution's lobby. She is the next witness. Everything was planned out in advance by that man? Somehow I knew there was no way Edgeworth would overlook Miss Andrews. Looks like this battle is far from over. Exactly.
Very well. We will call the next witness. However, before we proceed, we shall take a 10-minute recess. Please prepare your witnesses in that time, Mr. Edgeworth. The court will now take a 10-minute recess. Go play. Play to your heart's content.
To be continued. Jeezums. Bo-beezums. What happened? But I guess Edward planned it out from the very beginning. So, go him. March 22nd.
Dead. I can't believe that Adrian. No way. Not cool and collected Adrian Andrews.
She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her.
So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time.
How do you sleep in that costume, though? See, she could have also easily planted that blood-covered button in your hakama.
Because she was the one who came to wake me up? Then, Dad, you're saying it really was her?
Yeah, she's the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corda.
But why? I thought she was buds with Juan.
She has her own agenda.
Her own agenda? What are you talking about?
I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today.
Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Did?
Phoenix, you think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impact as her strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note and the person thought to have hidden it is Juan Corda, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corda, all to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible, but one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about the relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Miss Impact's. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Alright. So he might have done that to, I suppose, like, plan or something. Alright. Court back.
Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please.
The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court, Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corda's room. There she is. What is your occupation? I am the manager of the defendant of this case, Mr. Matt Ungard.
I see. Now then.
Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request.
Yes, sure, what is it?
I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing, and would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently.
Oh no, I have no idea what you mean. I never even heard of Gossip One.
If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corda. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan, but this was a private matter between Juan and myself.
So it was a fry and bait matter. Or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing.
But I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ.
Looking at me. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews.
Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. Okay. When I found the body. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was, naturally, the exact same scene as the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Yes, sadly I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime, and I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Phoenix, she's one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking, so you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant the trial is over. Understand? Okay. I don't know what that means, but... So I'm just gonna go ahead and save, because Adrian Andrews is cool and collected. I went back to get from his room. I guess I'll press, I suppose. And what was Mr. Ungar doing at the time?
He was taking a nap. He was worn out from his mini performance of the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony.
Mr. Ungar did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes?
Excuse me? It? What are you...
Right, I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Ungar's knife from his room?
No.
Subject, verb, object, right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue.
Dang. After that, went to Juan's room.
And why did you do that?
As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes.
So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh? Press further. Is that the only reason?
I beg your pardon? What are you implying?
You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss with the victim.
Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at that time.
I can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess. May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room?
Okay. His dead body. She was in shock.
You were in shock?
What? Was I not supposed to be?
Miss Andrews is a very calculating person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had a romantic feelings for Mr. Corida. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock, and you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not.
I see.
Okay. Naturally, the exact same scene in the crime scene photo. Nope. That's the Gotel guide map. I'm looking for the crime scene photo. There we go. Wait. The exact same scene, but didn't you just say you poured yourself some juice and you grabbed a glass? I'll press, but then I'll object to it. We'll see. Hold it. This is the photo you're referring to, correct?
Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest.
And the guitar case was like this too?
Yes, it was open and empty, of course.
And then, what did you do next, witness?
Felt I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice.
Yeah, that glass was already there, so hopefully I'm right.
Objection.
Your Honor, that statement contradicts this evidence.
Oh, it's not right. Okay. Gooey.
Oof bagoof.
Alright. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice.
Juice.
Juice? Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself.
But you didn't drink any of it, did you?
Huh?
There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it.
I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it.
Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Corida, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct?
And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time.
Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you.
Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. The one thing.
What one thing?
Never mind. It's no big deal.
What was she starting to say just now? Press further. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was. Actually, so would I.
I'm sorry. It's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over.
Okay.
Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This mess of glass shards?
It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case.
Why did you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have revealed in your testimony.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. Okay. I was the one who knocked the flower vase over where it fell onto the guitar case. But if that was the case, the inside would be... Let me check. If she knocked over the thing with water, yeah, the inside would be wet. But it was closed, correct? But only on top of the lid. Objection. Yep. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. Is this correct? Yes. And you are sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem, it's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell into the guitar case. However, if that was true, the case should have gotten wet on the inside, not the outside.
That's very true.
Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case.
And what is that?
Let's take another look at this crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered onto the floor.
And what is wrong with that?
If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shard should be inside, not outside the case. What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? No, think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else.
Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say that she didn't touch the guitar case.
But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. It may very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, doesn't it?
It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case?
Yeah, I guess. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I can't believe I'm doing this either.
Alright, I'll follow along. For now, Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor. Alright, so she didn't touch the guitar case? It didn't? What happened? I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. That's for why I opened the case. Even I don't know.
It looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using any way to change the topic, a convenient escape for a weak man. The guitar case. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. I don't understand. So you opened the guitar case then? Yes, well maybe... Why did you open the guitar case? Huh? Mr. Corda's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think that the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case. As the witness has said multiple times when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about the bright red guitar? But getting back on topic. Alright. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. Was it really empty? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you just paid attention.
Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright.
Sorry. That's why I opened the case. Even I don't know. But what's the point? Was that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try. Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let up on her now. I wasn't planning on letting up, but she's at her weakest now, so this is our chance. Yeah, if we had a weapon to hit her with. I'm sure the weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record, waiting to be found. I suppose. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. Ugh. Now it gets confusing. During your testimony just now, did you remember these events clearly in your mind? Well, you see. Are you sure you're the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependent side is taking over.
Well, Miss Andrews?
Yes, it was me. Okay, so we gotta find something in here. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. Was it? Old Hill Guide Map? Guitar case. Oh, what the heck? It has his fingerprints on it. Yeah, I just know. Thank God. Yeah, it has his fingerprints, not yours. There is no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim.
What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case.
What do you mean?
What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime.
No, he's not. That's strange. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? The freaking glass! Oh my god. She literally forgot. That's so sad. I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass? You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange that you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Oh, her glasses. Oh, she got a spare. That's fine. Order! Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar, the bright red guitar, was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either.
I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case...
Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards the unrelated topic and lull us into this misguided... No, Your Honor, please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the guitar case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in the photo of the crime scene. I am sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you are so sure, Wright, then I am sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us as why the guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder. If my logic is so far putting the pieces together, I may have a solution.
Can you do that, Mr. Wright?
Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case.
The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest that a bright black guitar was...
So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that it, Wright? I wouldn't say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Now then, let's have it. What was inside the case at the time of the murder? I might have the idea. It was him. And why would something like that be inside a guitar case, let alone this one?
Why, Mr. Wright, why?
Well, I just thought it might have been possible. I have a suggestion. Why don't you put that in the void where your brain's supposed to be?
Yes, and never bring it out again.
Okay, never mind. So it wasn't the body. Can a foolishly foolish fool get some love? Do you still think you can prove your theory? Can you... the guitar... I only have one sliver of health left. What was inside the case at the time of the murder? The photo? Check it. No, I don't think that's it either. Darn it. Load. I don't want to get a guilty verdict and put Maya in jeopardy. Okay. Let's see. So what would be inside the case at the time of the murder? So it's not Juan, so my logic has just been broken like that completely. Oh, of course it wouldn't have been Juan because he was carrying the freaking case. She was in it. Yeah? No, it's not. Dang it. Man, I'm really sure about that. The body thing. Alright, let's see. Objection. What was inside the case at the time of the murder? I don't know. Costume? Would a costume be in? It seems plausible. I'm gonna say the costume.
This is a photograph.
Yes, but what is important is what is in that picture, Your Honor.
In this picture?
It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What?
Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be doing something like that? That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she can make her escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? Ugh. I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo? Order! It looks like we wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
So the real murderer was hiding inside the costume.
Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Unguard's. Why would something of the defendant be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places?
True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
What was the Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case?
Well, let's stop and think for this for a minute. It was a spare. Mr. Unguard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one. What?
Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel?
Yes, that is what I'm saying.
And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case?
It would mean that the victim himself had brought this bear to the ceremony on purpose.
But why? The victim, Mr. Corridor, was the German ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What could he be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
And therein lies the sticking point. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just...
Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was... I know the reason. For this.
What is this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, Wright. But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Ungard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night.
But how can that be?
The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corda himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corda was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai.
He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference. The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corda, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Ungard.
Yes, I guess that's what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession. That's public disclosure.
Miss Andrews?
I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Pardon me?
Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan.
Miss Andrews, please offer an explanation for this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You?
Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year, and if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway.
He was going to ruin him, huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed. What? Ooh, what was it? I need to know more scandals.
And do you know what this secret of Mr. Ungard is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
Oh, I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all. Protect Mr. Ungard?
And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand. Okay, man, too much stuff is getting revealed right now. Protecting Matt. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what, and he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife, but I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him.
This does account for everything.
Well, I'm the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She is more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I am ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine, Mr. Wright.
Looks like somehow everything has been swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight onto this and turn her logic upside down. With only 2 slivers of health, baby. That's how broken my case is. Look at that. Oh, man. So let's see here. If I'm lucky. I saw the crime scene and I had a feeling Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. He was sleeping, right? My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him. But what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Ungard at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Corda planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Ungard as much damage as she possibly could. This witness bears ill will towards the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright wax philosophical power hour. And please, stop slandering the witness. As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me it sounded a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we'll see if I press a little more. You should know that this by now, but you'll need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief. I'm going to pin you down this time, Miss Andrews. Alright. Ugh. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what? I don't know what that means. So, would you say this need came from the press conference? Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event in that hotel for that conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt Ungard.
And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews?
Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But I'm sure Mr. Ungard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Anyway, the important thing here that is this information was not in your testimony.
Yes, I agree. Miss Andrews, please correct your testimony if you please.
Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? Okay. I know that his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. His motive? Has Mr. Ungard done something to hurt or betray you personally? Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Corda with his press conference, and that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Ungard, yet you still helped out. This person on trial right now is Mr. Ungard, Wright. What the witness was thinking, helping the victim with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? And he didn't have an alibi. I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. And he didn't... Oh, great, now my thing's died. He didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. Sketchy biz, sketchy biz. So let's see. I don't have any way to prove I'm right. A motive? What could the motive? Ay. Hold it. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then, what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought, and during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the Jammin' Ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Matt Sakama, isn't that correct? And I would think that it makes very decisive evidence.
Ugh. Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright.
Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes.
Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to the testimony.
Okay. That button was torn off Juan during his fight with Matt. Let's see. Was ripped from his costume. Would it be if... I think this proves he was already dead. If... I don't know. I think the button might be it, guys. Because... she said it was ripped off during the fight. But it was already covered in blood, so... I don't think he was bleeding anytime soon during the fight. Unless they were like fist fighting or something. I don't know. Let's try the button. It has to be the button. Yeah? No, it's not the button. It's not the button. Load. No guilties, please. Then press more. We'll see. Just press more. And how do you know that? When the ends of the threads on the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly, or so I heard. I've heard that before, too. But why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail? Don't look at me like that, just because I'm prepared and you are not. Ugh, and I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's anything to trip her up on, it has to be here. But where and what? So, at least he gave me a clue. The button was torn off. The button was torn off. The button was torn off. Button, 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 button. Strangled with a scarf, then stabbed with a knife. Eh? Oh, the fight. Doy, he strangled him first. And, okay. It just clicked right when I presented it. Got it. Alright. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. Well, I was kind of right in the button part.
And what does that mean?
Let's examine the evidence. This button was the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off on the costume. When? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means it is impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle, because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off on the victim's already dead body. So, yeah, I was right, basically.
Order. What is the
meaning of this right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know this button was not torn off during the fight, so the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it?
Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with the button? What was it?
To pin the crime on Ungard. There is only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Ungard. There is no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. Ungard was set up. By the real killer, of course.
And the real murderer is? Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then?
Save it just in case. Finally. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Ungard, is Adrian Andrews. Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you! You are Mr. Corrida's killer. What?
Order! Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence to support your charge?
Any evidence? All of the evidence points to Miss Andrews. How preposterous! You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Ungard, naturally. A knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you. Then, what about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only person who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Ungard was the real killer, There is no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. Get it, Phoenix. The only person who could have put this button into Miss Ungard's Hakama is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews.
I see. What about the empty guitar case?
That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. The costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who would have known that there was such a costume inside the guitar case? It could only have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews.
No,
But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found in the guitar case. And if it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at that time.
That's right.
That's because she did not intend on leaving any prints. If anyone had found out that she hadn't touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. And to top it all off, there was this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on earth can believe the Nickel Samurai is Mr. Ungard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Ugh. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not?
please, stop.
Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I've got her this time.
Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Plead the fifth.
Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination, by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Ungard's room.
Adrian Andrews.
Yes?
Think hard about what we just discussed. Understood?
Alright. That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things look bad. You did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done?
What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence.
One is so humorous, Mr. Angela.
I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless.
What?
Everything you have proven is circumstantial.
Circumstantial?
Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Corridor.
Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Corridor?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No, she's taking that defiant attitude again.
Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid, definitive proof.
But that's not true.
In this situation, there is only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess.
Recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial...
Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today,
then... Please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya...
But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is...
Oh, something triggered in him when he said Maya. It is not impossible for this trial to continue.
Mr. Edgeworth, what are you...
It's true that Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation was something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony.
Yes, that is very true, but...
Actually, there is one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. So my actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it's about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please.
Alright. When I found the body again. That glass of juice, I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in a messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over and tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked the flower vase over.
So you poured that glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony?
I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? And with that, that's another cliffhanger, friends. Because we ran out of time for more, so we're going to leave this episode off right here, guys. So, if you enjoyed the video, guys, don't forget to leave a like. Also, comment and subscribe to get new feed on videos and become a member of the Cuckoo Crew today. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter so you can recommend the fidget games you want me to play or chat, your preference. Also, to subscribe, be sure to tap that bell to get notifications on videos so you'll never miss one from me ever again. But that's going to be it from Phoenix Wright, Justice for All. In the next episode, my controllers will be fully charged. And we'll just keep on hammering on Miss Andrews and see what happens next. Because we're incriminating her as the killer. So, until then, guys, have a nice day, have a nice night. Amateur is out.